Hi, welcome to my channel if you're new, welcome back if you're a subscriber. Today I'm going to be sharing my February TBR, and I haven't done a TBR video in so long, but I want to get back on it. I want to start making TBR videos. They're just hard to fully follow because I am such a mood reader, and so oftentimes I'll have this ambitious list of books I want to get to, and then I'm in a different mood and want to grab something completely different off my TBR. But this month I want to see if I can stick to my TBR as much as possible. Since it is Black History Month, I definitely wanted to focus most of my reading from books written by Black authors, so I have a bunch to share here today, which I would like to get to. Before we get into the video though, I wanted to share my book selections for February for the Lights Out Book Club. And if you don't know, I host a book club called the Lights Out Book Club, and it's a book club that's focused on reading thriller and horror books, and generally they're newer releases, sometimes they're backlist titles. So for the book pick for this month, it is What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall. And my co-host is my friend Gwen from Gwendolyn Kessinger, and I love Gwen so much. She actually has a podcast called Talk Bookish to Me podcast. I've been on it before. I had a blast, and she just recently had Kirsten Moglin on, which if you don't know, that's the author who wrote The Arrangement and The Amendment, and also a ton of other thriller books that I really enjoyed. So I would highly recommend checking out Gwen's channel as well as her podcast. She creates such awesome content, and I'm really excited to have her on as a co-host. So I want to read the synopsis for What Lies in the Woods, and it says, there were 11 when they sent a killer to prison. They were heroes, but they were liars. Naomi Shaw used to believe in magic. 22 years ago, she and her two best friends, Cassidy and Olivia, spent the summer roaming the woods, imagining a world of ceremony and wonder. They called it the Goddess Game. The summer ended suddenly when Naomi was attacked. Miraculously, she survived her 17 stab wounds and lived to identify the man who had hurt her. The girl's testimony put away a serial killer wanted for murdering 6 women. They were heroes, and they were liars. For decades, the friends have kept a secret worth killing for. But now Olivia wants to tell, and Naomi set out to find out what really happened in the woods, no matter how dangerous the truth turns out to be. So I love a creepy woods setting, a serial killer, and also people keeping secrets. It sounds like a really, really good book. And this author has written YA books before, but I believe this is the debut adult fiction book, which is exciting. So like I mentioned earlier, the rest of the books I would like to read this month are written by Black authors, and I am really excited for these book picks. I can't wait to talk about them. So I have a stack of some of these that I have physically here, but the first book I want to talk about I don't own physically, and this one is How It Ends by Rachel Howzell Hall. And this one I'm really excited about because it is an Audible original, and it's only a little bit over 2 hours at regular speed, and I usually listen to my audiobook sped up. So I'll probably fly through this one, and it looks really intriguing. This one has a little bit of a home invasion vibe or setup, and home invasions really freak me out. I'm not sure how much this book will really dive into the home invasion aspect of it, but basically what it's about is this woman, she recently has gone through a messy divorce, and she's trying to get a, new fresh start in her life, so she moves into this new home. But a few days after she moves in, she is attacked, and she doesn't see who attacked her because they're wearing a mask, and so the FBI can't really do anything about it, but she's determined to figure out who it was. That's all it really says, and I think in shorter stories it's better to just go in as blind as possible and to not really know what to expect. The next book is The Violin Conspiracy by Brendan Slocumb, and this book I've had my eye on for a long time because I've never read anything that takes place in the classical world that's fiction or a thriller, and I'm really intrigued by that because I did get my degrees in violin performance, and so I'm extra interested in this topic. So this is about a Black violinist who gets a Stradivarius violin, and if you don't know, that's one of the most expensive violins in the world, and he has this violin. He's inherited it from his grandfather, but it's stolen the night before the biggest classical competition in the world, and he's determined to figure out how to get his violin back. So that's all I really know about it, and I really want to prioritize this book this month because I've had my eyes on it so long and it sounds really unique and interesting. The next book that I would love to get to this month is All Her Little Secrets by Wanda A. Morris. And this I actually bought while I was traveling, and I kind of started it and it had a really good start. I realized I got farther into it than I thought. If my bookmark is actually in an accurate place, I got 100 pages in, but I don't really remember much of this, so I probably will just start over. And I remember really being intrigued by it, but I just ended up getting distracted by whatever. I think it was over the holidays and I just wasn't reading very much. But it's about this woman and she is actually hooking up with her boss. She has a really successful career, but one day she goes and visits him and finds him dead. And so she actually leaves him pretending like she didn't see anything because she has a past that she's trying to keep covered. And so now she's promoted to replace her old boss, but she seems like something isn't quite right with the company. And once she starts digging and investigating, she discovers some dark secrets and her past and present lives begin to collide. The next book on my TBR list is Catherine House, and this one is by Elisabeth Thomas, and this one is a dark academic novel, which is very exciting. I am really into the dark academic aesthetic and vibe, and I've been wanting to read more books in this genre. So this one has some mixed reviews. I've heard that people have been really disappointed in this one, but then I've seen some really high reviews. So I'm trying to go into it with an open mind and just see if I like the atmosphere, because for dark academia, a lot of times it's more about the setting and the atmosphere than the actual plot, but we'll see what I think of this one, and if I really don't like it, I'll just DNF it. But this one says, a story about a dangerously curious young undergraduate whose rebelliousness leads her to discover a shocking secret involving an exclusive circle of students and the dark truth beneath her school's promise of prestige. You are in the house and the house is in the woods. You are in the house and the house is in you. So that's all I know about it. I'm excited to go in sort of blind and feel really immersed in the atmosphere. And I also believe that this is YA. And I also want to point out, I love the cover so much. It's stunning, it's beautiful, and I hope to get to it this month. The next book I've had on my TBR for a while and haven't gotten to it, and it is My Sister the Serial Killer. And this one is by Oyinkan Braithwaite. And I, once again, love the cover so much and how it has this little spray bottle on the back. I love that so much because this book is about a woman who keeps covering up her sister's murders. She is a serial killer and she keeps repeatedly murdering the women she dates. She starts dating a man who she really falls in love with though, and really doesn't want her sister to murder him this time. So she has to figure out how to save his life. And this one is marketed as a dark comedy, and I really am excited to get into it. This could really work for me. Sometimes I really enjoy the tone of dark comedies. So I'm really intrigued by this one. It's really short. It's only, let's see, about 200 pages, but it's formatted in a way where it's, you know, smaller. So I'll probably get through this really fast. I'll probably listen to it on audiobook, and I'm hoping I'll really love it. As the Wicked Watch by Tamron Hall really caught my eyes. This one is a start of a series, and it's about a crime reporter who gets offered her dream job for a television station in Chicago. So she moves from Texas to Chicago, and she's known for showing up first on crime scenes in stilettos, which I love that so much. That description immediately caught my eye. She sounds like a really strong female lead, which I love. She's also oftentimes the only Black woman in the newsroom. And her two motivations are breaking every big story and giving a voice to the voiceless. And also she tends to notice a lot of things that other people miss, so she's very detail-oriented and intelligent. One day, a 15-year-old Black woman is found dead and abandoned, and she is determined to find the serial killer who she believes is actually hiding in plain sight. And she also does everything she can to give this story coverage because it desperately needs it. The last books I would love to get to this month are The Year of the Witching and House of Hunger, and these are both by Alexis Henderson. I am obsessed with the covers. They are gorgeous. I'm so glad I own them. And this one is about a puritanical society and a young woman living in that time period. And then this one is about a blood maid. So they both look really good. I'm not really sure which one to start with. I'm kind of leaning towards House of Hunger just because I sort of want to save The Year of the Witching if I don't get to it this month. for the fall time, but I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm a mood reader, so we'll see what I end up picking. But I've heard really great things about both of these. Let me know in the comments which one you prefer, if you've read both of them, or if you've just read any of these books I mentioned in this video, what your thoughts are, and if you recommend me prioritizing one specifically. So that is all for this video. I hope you all have a wonderful reading month, and I look forward to talking to you very soon. Bye, as I wave with my books.